Hi, and welcome to Wellbeing Wednesdays with Nurse Rachel Devereaux. I am here today to tell you about how I work with wellbeing. So my past interviews have all been with other people, so I'm kind of doing an interview with myself today. We are on Wednesday, the 5th of May, and I'm really excited. I've had a lovely day. So I run these Wellbeing Wednesday sessions with guest speakers on one of four topics. Our first topic is health and wellbeing. Then the next week is parenting, then pets and hobbies, and the fourth week is business. So we've been running them every week at either 12:30 or 8:30, and that's because not all business owners are available on an evening, and not all people want to work during the day either. That's their paid work time. So I've had an absolute jam-packed schedule. Really enjoyed doing these. Been running them for a few months now, and my speakers have all been absolutely lovely. I'm usually juggling babies, but I've just managed to send them upstairs to try and get the four babies 2, 3, 1, 3, and 4 are still awake. So my husband's dealing with that at the moment. So we are running these sessions for free to help you with your health and well-being, and to give you ideas of how you could do self-care. We have a CIC, which I'm going to speak about later, and there is a Ko-fi account, which means that you're kind of buying me a coffee to say thank you for doing these sessions. So if you've enjoyed it, you can go to this ko-fi.com/parent sanctuary, and there's an option to buy us a coffee there. So who am I? I'm busy. I'm really busy, but I am so happy, and my life fulfillment has intensified since I changed my way of working. Working like this is hard, and it's probably harder than actual nursing, but I have such a varied and exciting and interesting life that it's kind of I don't know. It's certainly so much more fulfilling than even nursing was, and I thought that my nursing career was fulfilling. So I have 4 children. The eldest is approaching 7, so he's still 6, and my youngest 2 are just over 1. So we are very busy. I work with physical and mental health. So the way that I work is to help people create healthy lifestyles. So it's more preventative than reactive. And I love going out for walks and being in nature. Before we start any of our sessions, I help people to remember to breathe. Now, we always think that we know how to breathe, and we do it automatically, otherwise we wouldn't be standing up or sitting down. But the way that I've learned to breathe is to meditate in a moment. As you saw, 4 children, busy work, busy life. Having to find time to meditate became really difficult. When I decided I wanted to put meditation into my lifestyle, I would get out of bed early, and my children would wake up immediately, or within 5 minutes of me getting out of bed. So early morning routines didn't work for our family. I really tried it, because I love getting up early and having that early morning routine. But when my children wake up as soon as I do, it's not worth it. And I tried doing it on an afternoon, and they'd be climbing all over me. I tried doing it on an evening, but as you can see, it's after 8:30 and my children are still awake. So at what point am I going to find this 20 minutes or half an hour? Or busy people probably need to meditate for 2 hours a day. And I just couldn't get it in. And I know the benefits of meditating. And I know the mental relief I get from doing a yoga session and having the meditation as part of the yoga session. But I just wasn't finding these moments, especially with lockdown that we've just been through, caged lions and nowhere to go, and the house just feeling smaller by the day. I really needed to get this down, and this meditating a moment came about way before lockdown. So I figured out that when I was feeling at my most stressed, I would snap at the children, and I don't like that. Or I would snap at my husband and say something really cruel. And it wasn't truth that was coming out. It wasn't how I wanted to speak to them. It wasn't how I envisaged myself or think about myself. And yet this venom would spit out of my mouth. And I thought, this isn't right. And I discovered that if I could just breathe before I react, then I could alter my behavior. Now, that sounds like something everyone's always told me, but it was more than that. It was more than count to 10. It was more than just breathe. It was this complete meditation in a moment. So we have our lungs, and our lungs are made up of, you've got 3 lobes on one side and 2 lobes on the other. And they're quite big bags inside your chest. And when we get stressed, we tend to bring our shoulders up to our ears. And when our shoulders are up by our ears, all our muscles are really tight in our chest. And when we breathe in, we're not actually breathing in to the bottom of our lungs. So when I ask people to breathe with me, to do this meditate in a moment, I want them to really visualize that they are filling their lungs right to the very bottom of their chest. And when I worked on the wards, this is something we would do with people to help them with their breathing if they've got breathing difficulties. And the physios would tell me that, this is how we help people remove phlegm from the bottom of their lungs, because if you are not breathing deeply, you can get a buildup of sediment in the bottom of your lungs. So by encouraging people to breathe deeply, they don't have as much of a risk of getting things like pneumonia. So it was really important for me to learn how to do this. And some people will call it belly breathing. But the idea is that you really, really get right to the bottom of your lungs and inflate them properly. So they're not like soggy balloons with a bit that's crusty at the bottom. Really, really blow those balloons up inside your chest and let all of that gaseous exchange happen. So when we're breathing in, we are taking in oxygen from the air. And when it gets into our lungs, it's going to go in through our nose or in through our mouth and down our trachea into our lungs. And then it's going to go along the branches of the alveoli where gaseous exchange happens. So that's where your oxygen from the air comes in, and it filters down tiny, tiny, tiny little tubes, tiny, tiny little airways, until it meets blood vessels. And when the blood vessels, the red blood cells, pick up the oxygen and they deliver the carbon dioxide. So your oxygen then goes, oxygenated blood then goes into your heart, and from your heart it is pumped all the way around your body. So your fingertips, your toe ends, all the fine little capillaries in your head, everywhere in your body is being served this fresh oxygenated blood that has come in through your lungs. And then as the cells in your body receive the oxygen, they're then able to do their job and work hard for your body to keep everything in homeostasis. And then when the cells have used all that oxygen and they use it to create the energy they need to work, that deoxygenated blood is then sent right back all the way through your venous system, your veins, and goes back to your lungs where it can get filled up with oxygen again. So by inflating your lungs, you are really, really giving every single part of your body this extra oxygenated blood. You're really giving it an easy ride instead of having to work harder. So I'm really passionate about this because breathing is breathing. But if we go to build a house and we don't have the building blocks, the foundations in correctly, then our house is going to fall over. So I really, really am so keen on people starting with the simple basics, because quite often the simple basics are overlooked. So when I am feeling this, like my shoulders are coming up and the weight of the world is on me and I've got all of these things to do and then all of this stuff is happening, then I might react in a way that's not me. So I take this deep breath and I think to myself, how do I want to react in this moment? Is what I am seeing real, or am I imagining a stress that is not actually going to hurt me? Am I making this stress up? Because the only things to be stressed about is actually saber-toothed tigers and about to get run over. You know, something really terrifying about to happen. Everything else is kind of a might. So the things that might happen, I might be worrying about might be's that never are. So do I really need to put all of this level of stress into something that's a might be, a maybe? So what would happen if I wait? If I am in the middle of a supermarket or a schoolyard and my child's messing up, you know, being a child, do I really want to berate him in front of all of these people? Or do I want to wait until the moment's passed and I'm feeling calmer and he's feeling calmer and have a bit of a chat and say, the way you behaved earlier, I didn't really like that. How could we change that behaviour? Or can we have like a code word so that if you're doing this, I can remind you that we've already discussed it and you've said that you don't want to do it again. So is it the right time to react? Am I in the right place to react? Am I in the right place emotionally to react? Am I hungry? Am I tired? So I go through all of these things before I react, because if I don't do this breathing, then my adrenaline starts to take over and I start to behave as if that saber-toothed tiger is actually here. So I can change my nervous system by simply breathing. So I am this week's speaker, and I want to speak to you about nature being a healer. And this is all part of these building blocks, getting these building blocks right, and making sure that we're not overlooking the simple. Because if we are always looking for the complex, we can spend a long time and a lot of energy, and even like people taking medications when they have not covered the basics. So my job is really to get curious with people, and I sit down and I go through like questioning, I have had clients turn around to me and say, "But, why are you asking that? That's so simple." But if I don't ask the simple questions, then we miss something that would be very, very easy to change. So I am talking about nature as a healer. Now, we know that nature is good for us. We know that spending time outside is good for us. The fresh air is good for us. The exercise that we get outside is good for us. We know that food is the first medicine. We know that exercise is a medicine. So, with food and exercise being really key to keeping our bodies working, if we are putting syrup in our cars instead of petrol or diesel, then our cars are going to be not able to run. We need to make sure that we are filling our bodies with healthy foods, with healthy liquids, that we are giving it optimal nutrition so that it can do its job. Just like breathing, if we can make sure that everything we do is to make our body's life easier, then our bodies are really going to thank us for this. So with food, are you eating for survival? Are you eating because you crave white carbs and you are using food as a comfort for something else that you're missing in life? Are you predominantly eating healthy and having the occasional binge, or are you yo-yo dieting and looking at food as a weapon? Like, this food will make me skinny and this food will make me fat. Like, is it a weapon? Are you punishing yourself with food? I've never used that phrase before. I'm not sure where it's come from, but that's how I'm feeling at the moment about food being a weapon and punishing ourselves with food. Are we punishing ourselves by only eating healthy food and not enjoying the range of food that there is? Are we punishing ourselves by only eating food that is going to really minimize our body's chances of being healthy and giving you what you want from life? So yeah, I'm always intrigued when I have little moments like that. Where did it come from? Because it will mean something to someone. So if that's you, then please pop a comment in the comments below. Please tell me if you feel that way I've just explained, that food as a weapon, if that means something to you. So we've covered food. We can't really talk about food without herbs. And our herbs are in abundance. They're all around us. And they're great for making our foods taste different and increasing the flavour of dishes. But did you know that herbs are also used as a medicine as well? And it's not just cups of tea. It's things that you will find growing on the roadside or all over a meadow that is there as a medicine that we can access freely and easily. And we can forage for these things. Our nature wants us to be well, and we have found these herbs over millennia of, well, thousands of years of humans, and we have adapted and used these herbs. It's really fascinating when you look into even the simple nettle or dandelion, how much benefit they give us, and yet we see them as weeds. But they are part of our healthy humans. Um, so our herbs can help us with ailments, and there are some really fantastic herbalists out there who can help you to look at what your ailments are and what herbs might be available to you. There's courses. I've done a herbal, what was it? A diploma in herbs, a master herbalist diploma, and it's fascinating, like how many things are overlooked, and it's. I'll talk about aromatherapy as well before I go on to my next point. Aromatherapy is taking um, the concentrated oils, the essence of the flower or the herb, and keeping it and storing it in a liquid so that we can use thousands of leaves in one drop, and we can take that potent power of the plant and put it to medicinal use for the human. And we can use the aromatherapy from an inhalation point of view. We can use it as a topical point of view. We can ingest it. We can use it in a diffuser. We can use it for pain relief, for nausea. We can use it to help us go to sleep. There's all sorts of ways in which aromatherapy and herbs work, and even like back flower remedies. These can all help us to become more of ourselves. As with anything, as a disclaimer, things can be toxic in high quantities. So please look into it, find out who your experts are, find out who is going to be able to help guide you on this, because it is possible to build up a toxicity to aromatherapy. It is possible to build up sensitivity to things, and it is possible, if you're doing foraging, to pick the wrong thing, or for your herbal remedies to interact with your prescribed medication. I'm just going to touch on mushrooms as well, because mushrooms are fantastic. They are nature's little recyclers, and they are proving their worth as a food source and as a medicine as well. And they are being studied extensively to see if they are helping our bodies. Are they going to be the next antibiotic to get rid of the chances of us having no antibiotics to work on our bodies because of multi-resistant bugs? Are we going to be able to generate new antibiotics through using fungus to help us in that way? Millions of fungus are available, and we don't understand them all. They're being discovered all of the time. I've got lots of crying going on upstairs. So I've covered fresh air and exercise. And I think that many people don't realise why things like gardening and being outside and the sea air and all of those things that are well known for being good for us, even vitamin D synthesis, we are well versed in these things being good for us. But not many people actually know that using the power of the earth, so actual earthing as in an electrical circuit connecting to earth, is really, really good for us. This is one of the things that I will be running a course on at the end of May. I'm looking at the 30th of May to set a little introduction to earthing on. And it's absolutely fascinating when you look into, even if this is a placebo, the effects that people have by connecting to earth. But there are lots of double-blind studies and studies on serum which show how much this earthing works on our bodies, and it could be the reason why we're having so much problems with inflammation. And for something that is so simple to implement, more people should be trying it. So I am really excited about my event on the 30th of May, so please look out for that. And it will be posted on Facebook and Eventbrite as an event, so come along, it's going to be great. I love talking about earthing and getting people to realise that there's something else they can do that's not a medicine, it's not something they have to take or apply, and it's so easy to access. So I hope that sort of explains a little bit about what I do. I'm working with people. My favourite work is when I work with parents, because so much of this can be easily implemented. So I really love working with parents, because parents have quite a really rough ride of it. Not only are they trying to raise independent children and care for them and support their well-being and their education and put food on the table and keep a house and look after their own relationships with their families and their extended families and their friends, but they're also trying to go to work and perform when they are probably sleep deprived and have a lot of emotional outgoings happening as well. I have now been joined by my children. So parents have got all of these balls in the air, they're juggling everything, and it really does feel like if they drop one, everything's going to come tumbling down around them. And it's very easy to see why parents have like a midlife crisis, why they have a change of career once they become a parent. It's very easy to see that through both my own experience and through the experience of lots of people around me. But when we understand how life's working and not just the way we think it's working, it's so much easier to deal with all of these stresses. So I really love helping people who are feeling stressed and overwhelmed with life to help put that into perspective, so they don't feel that stress and overwhelm as acutely as they have done. So they might have moments of stress and overwhelm where it just all feels, but to be able to have that and to relax into it and to relax knowing that everything is going to be okay, it's kind of a priceless transformation that I give people. I absolutely love seeing the weight lift off people's minds when they realize that their previous thought system was keeping them in this stuck place, and to help them move through with simplicity and ease and start to enjoy life in a whole new level. It is absolutely beautiful when they realize their mental health and what that actually means. They are fantastic, and just to see the changes in people and the way they explain how they're now feeling from how they were feeling, it feels so amazing. And even if it's like their children, if they feel like their children's additional needs are causing them issues, when they relax into their child rather than their child's problem, then it's such a magical thing to see that relationship change. I love working with parents and children. And this is kind of moving on. So as Nurse Rachel, I work with parents still, and I set aside a little bit of time for individual coaching, and I run things like my earthing workshops to help with practical ways in which they can help with their well-being. and their physical well-being. But I have set up Parent Sanctuary this year. Parent Sanctuary is a CIC, which is helping new parents to build their mental and physical health through nature. We empower parents to have the confidence to explore their natural surroundings with little ones and give them bonding time and education in play. So our Parent Sanctuary is really focused on building that confidence and the resilience and the connection and calm that you can have with your children, even if they're really, really feeling sad. You can really connect with them on another level. So Parent Sanctuary is running nature walks. We are going into schools and delivering my mental health rock sessions, and we are also developing a health and wellbeing program for schools. We have got experience of working with our own and our children's allergies and navigating the system with that. So we can really help with coaching parents through their child's allergies and understanding the steps that they can take before they get to the allergy clinic, and perhaps even, you know, reducing some of those symptoms or eliminating those symptoms altogether. So it's new, and we are hoping to get some little videos produced on health, well-being and environment, because you really can't separate the three. If you are living in an environment that is deprived of nature, if you are living in an environment that is not suitable for human habitation, then you're not going to be healthy. If you are living in an environment where you do not feel emotionally loved and cared for, you're not going to be feeling very healthy. Your well-being is not going to be very good. So we really focus on the three key areas: health, environment and well-being, because if you can get a balance in those, then you know you're ready to fly. Well, Parent Sanctuary is going from strength to strength. At the moment, we're doing a weekly walk on a Friday, and we're looking at including a Monday weekly walk, and hopefully being able to access more schools. So if you know a school that needs health and wellbeing support, then please do pop a comment, send us an email, and we can get in touch with your school and hopefully book the sessions in. And yeah, I feel like I've covered everything that I was going to cover. Our walks, our nature walks, are more than just a walk. That's one of the key things. It's not a Parent Sanctuary isn't about us saying, you know, this is how you parent. Absolutely not. None of my coaching is me telling you what to do. None of my work with parents is about this way or that way. When I work with parents, it's not about, you know, this is the way to parent. This is how you parent. Any book or any person that tells you that this way of parenting is the way and anything else is substandard is wrong. Because the way that the world works is by having so many individualities and having so many differences, and we know things that are emotionally damaging for children, and there are studies that show that certain techniques that have been employed in the past are detrimental to well-being. and they were very well publicised and adopted by people in previous generations. But what I've found is, in the heart of heart, all parents who are caring for their children want the best for their children, and that is the main thing to be looking at. They want the best for their children, and sometimes their well-being is how they give them the best as well. So there is no right or wrong way of parenting. And I am simply here to help you become the parent you want to be. And most people just want to love their children and for them to have the absolute best. So I'm really excited to have had this session to myself. I'm looking at booking my next sets of speakers, and I'm going to speak to people about whether they want 12:30 slots or 8:30 slots. From a family point of view, I am getting quite busy on a Wednesday now, so I'm not sure how much longer I'm going to be able to keep these up for, but I have really enjoyed doing them. And yeah, if you'd like to hear about any specialisms, then please do let me know. And exciting things are coming, exciting collaborations and new ways of working, and embracing my next steps in life. So thank you very much for watching. I've been Nurse Rachel Devereux. It's been our health and wellbeing specialism, and please look out for the 30th of May when I'm going to go into how earthing is so beneficial to our bodies.